Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I am Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell.
Hello, everybody.
Ruben Bressler.
How's it going? Sponsor us, Water Baby.
Sponsor us, Water Baby, please.
We promise not to squeeze the heads off our babies anymore.
Casual childhood trauma in the pre-show. All right. Fantastic. Well, they kick it off with our first pick and giveaway. Get your chance at a $50 gift certificate to CoolStuffInc.com by typing !raffle in the chat, but subscribe first to get 2 chances to win. And don't forget our raid at the end of the show to support a member of the community. Enter your suggestions at the end of the show to see who we raid tonight. All right. So we get to talk about the first pick this week. The first pick this week is all about the secret layers. We have information about upcoming secret layers. We have information about old secret layers. We have information about secret layers coming even later than that. It's going to be pretty ridiculous as Wizards announced the Secret Layer Ultimate Edition 2. Right. The first Ultimate Edition was Fetch Lands. This is not Fetch Lands, but it is what some would argue, at least as V. Mauschwitz has said, is the best dual land cycle since Alpha. And it's hard to argue not. The pathway cycle that began in Zendikar Rising is going to end up in Kaldheim to finish it out is fantastic. I mean, I've played with them now for a long time on Magic Arena. They were just as good as you thought they would be.
I saw one in Commander the other day, and I had to do a double take. Like, what? And,
they're great. I mean, they're a dual land with no drawback. Exactly. A basic land type. Okay. I'll bring it up on screen so you guys can see them. These are really sweet. Really, really
They're
sweet.
very cool. And of note, there are 10 lands in this set.
Right.
The 6 that came out already. And the 6 that we see here are, of course, set on Zendikar. The 4 that are going to be in packs of Kaldheim are all the 4 remaining ones.
Right.
Are also going to be in this Ultimate Edition with Zendikar-themed art.
Yeah, which is kind of neat, I guess. Yeah. Interesting. It's almost like they put all 10 in and they were like, we don't have enough room or something.
Well, there's the 6 in Zendikar, there's 4 in Kaldheim, but all 10 are going to be in this pack.
Ooh, yes. I just flipped over the Boulder Loft pathway. That is wild.
Yeah, there's some really, really nice ones here. So, we're going to get to see the rest of them, of course, when Kaldheim shows up. And this is, again, very similar to the Fetchland one, but I doubt we'll get such a premium, essentially.
I mean, this is as close as you're ever going to get again in Standard.
I mean, these pathways are just spectacular. The fact that we have modal double-faced cards, like this is the creme de la creme of land cycles when you have something like that exist.
Yeah. And the fact that they just were like, hey, 10 of Magic's best artists, go nuts. Just do whatever you want with your lands. Some of them can have like a topiary in them. Some of them can be, actively look nothing like, this I think this, what is this? The Pillar Verge pathway? Mm-hmm. That's supposed to add white mana? I don't know about that. But, I mean, they all look gorgeous, so I'm on board.
Absolutely. So we have not only news of that happening, we also are going to have more artist-based secret layers. They talked about it as they have the artist series Seb McKinnon, of course, which is absolutely fantastic. And 2021, they say, will feature more entries, beginning with Johannes Voss, which is awesome.
You mean Johann?
Johannes Voss, because I am Southern. Hey, Foglio.
Johannes.
But Kaja and Foglio will be producing their very own artist series, which is also fantastic. And they previewed a piece of artwork for that, which is some goblins flying through the air. Which is
I'm here for a Foglio secret art or secret layer. Yeah,
we ain't had Foglio art since like Darksteel or something.
Totally on board.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The first special guest secret layer will feature Fiona Staples. Now, if you don't know who Fiona Staples is the artist for the comic book Saga. And Saga is the best damn comic book to show up in the last 20 years. The best thing since Sandman. No joke. If you haven't read it, you're missing out. And so the artist from Saga getting art on Magic cards, I am geeking the hell out.
That's pretty cool.
Huge. I am so pumped. And I think they are actually finishing the saga, as it were, sometime soon. So that'll be a thing. But
isn't Saga is that the comic I've heard that's like really horny?
It could be seen that way.
Some of it is.
There's definitely a sexualized element of it that other comics don't kind of enjoy, if that makes sense. But they do it in a way that's like natural and doesn't feel.
It doesn't feel forced.
Tasteful nudity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it's part
also,
of the story, right?
So Saga has also, from what I've heard, been close to being optioned by HBO, Showtime, all those kind of
I can only
places.
imagine why they wouldn't. Like, the story is terrific. And I've got all 3 volumes right now in the big hardcover in my living room, and they are terrific, and I highly recommend them.
Okay.
So yeah, they also did a Secret Lair preview of Nature's Lore. You have to see this. Not
thing,
really to believe it.
I
you've
love
seen some
this
of the
thing.
shredded cards, but
This
check
thing's
out this Nature's Lore.
Fantastic. This thing is the coolest style. Like, this is what you want the Secret Lairs to do. Now that people are like, the heavy metal thing is so cool.
Right.
It's not for me, but it's so cool. The Nature's Lore is another one of those. Except for this time, it is for me. Because this owl is so adorable and friend-shaped and just my favorite.
Friend-shaped. I'm going to bring it up here on the screen now so you guys can take a look at it, because it is something else to imagine this is a Magic card. To even have the conversation, we talked about the heavy metal stuff too. Cool. But, that's the motif, right? Here is something different. Again, still a motif, but it's totally different than that. And that just 5 years ago, if you were to say this could be on a Magic card, you'd be like, there's no way. Like, Wizards has so many standards, quote unquote. Yep. They would never let something like this happen.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's
I
cool
love
as hell.
it. Greetings, tired traveler, and it just like fits the flavor of the card. This looks like Over the Garden Wall a little bit to me, which I love. And I mean, this thing is just gorgeous and spectacular.
Absolutely. So, and they tease one last little drop here, which is a Read the Fine Print drop, which includes 4 creatures and 1 enchantment, whatever that's supposed to mean. Do know they also mentioned that they're not going to do individual drops this next time around, at least throughout next year, as I understand it. But they're going to do multiple drops, just like the super drop they did this time, which is they get to upsell you, right? It's not just one $40 box. It's, hey, if you get all of the non-foil ones, you're in for $100 and you save X dollars because they're the salesman now, right? So if they provide things that you can bundle together to give them more money all at once, that's a good idea on Wizards' end of things. So lots and lots of new Secret Lairs coming, so much stuff. It's going to be sweet if you like Secret Lairs.
Yeah.
I still have not pulled the trigger on a Secret Lair. I've been gifted one, but I always, and for me, it's like I'm looking for one that's like a home run. Like, I've always seen, typically there's like 1 card, maybe 2, but like, I'm still waiting for that Secret Lair that just, I need every single card.
Well,
and I'm not quite there yet.
From what I'm gathering from chat, the Read the Fine Print Secret Lair may be the 4 demons of Liliana's contract plus Liliana's contract or the demonic whatever, telling the whole story, essentially being Liliana's signature spellbook.
I could
so you could get yourself a Liliana Gristlebrand.
Like, I'm listening. Yeah,
I mean, I'll take it. They can go.
Well, I didn't get the
Dread
one.
cool
I didn't like the art on the Dread one. So.
True.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And they also didn't let me preview it. So
that too. It was a little bit.
You got to bring in the petty.
A little bit of the petty.
Before everything else. Yeah. Okay? Petty has to show up. But yeah, this is Wizards again leaning into Secret Lair. They've clearly been making good money off of it. They did a ton of them this year, which was absolutely ridiculous, and we'll get to that later. But we do know which one was the most successful, and that was the Walking Dead Secret Lair. Not close. The best-selling drop ever. I certainly expected it to be. I'm not totally shocked by this information. And it is pretty cool that they have Don't Open Dead Inside on the packaging.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I'm really interested to see, and I don't know how they'd really track such a thing, but I'm really interested to see, if this turns, no pun intended, if this turns, any Walking Dead fans, people who may not have been interested in Magic before, if this gets them to play the game, I'm interested to see if this is a gateway product or, I'm interested to see the split, were the people that bought this primarily Walking Dead fans or were they Magic fans who happen to like Walking Dead? I'm so fascinated by this product.
Right.
I mean, the percentage is so low. Like if 5% of the people who never played Magic bought this because of Walking Dead and now love Magic and or play Magic because of it, that sounds like a home run to me. Like, you're selling stuff from Secret Lair and you're making it on the back end as new
But by
players.
the same token, was it well sold because they're unique cards? Was it well sold because it's the only place that you can get Rick and Glenn and Lucille. Like, is that is the reason why it was so good because we need those for Legacy and or our cubes or whatever?
I think that was part of it. I mean, there's no doubt that the black borderness, you can only sell its reputation. It's ubiquitous one time. You can only say, I'm going to make black bordered things unique in this box, and I'm going to say this box is the only place you're going to get it. I wish they hadn't done that.
I also wish they hadn't done that. I think that saying that, hey, everybody, why are you so mad? This was the most popular one is a little missing the point. Because we all knew it was going to be the most popular one.
Yeah, because of selling a unique single.
Yeah.
It was not a reprint in any way. They've all been reprints in some way. You could always say, well, I can get this cheaper version or I can get this old version for my buddy who's gotten his binder. No, this is the only way you get these Magic cards. And I just hate it, considering the Godzilla fix. And, of course, we talked all about it. But I'm just, it's so befuddling that little hollow stamp foil being different in the bottom is supposed to be the Magic, this is not a real, quote-unquote, canon Magic card, but it's a functional Magic card. It just isn't a story.
I didn't have a problem with it then, and that's not to invalidate what you're feeling.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to me because I didn't have a problem with it then, and kudos. I
mean, again, the product did exactly what they wanted it to do.
I didn't have a problem with box toppers that were mechanically unique and didn't appear in packs until they printed one that was tournament playable. And that's what I think is going to happen here, is until one of them breaks a format and the only place you can get it is Secret Lair Breaking Bad or whatever, as once Aang the Last Airbender is the best thing that you can be doing in Modern, then I'll start worrying about it.
Okay, we'll see. I'm happy to cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, again, for Wizards, for Hasbro, this was a gigantic
for Hasbro, get that money.
And again, you keep saying, you keep having the fervor, and then they buy it anyway.
Yeah.
And when you keep buying
that's
it,
a bit of a,
not going to slow down.
Well, you have to understand that I think something that people forget is that I've seen statistics that say that only like 20% of the country uses Twitter. And so, when you're, on Twitter constantly like we are, it's our job to observe the reactions to things. It can feel like everybody's talking about something. But, one thing I've learned is that if you go into stores or if you go to events, not everybody knows what's happening on Twitter. And so, just because people on Twitter weren't happy about it or people on Reddit weren't happy about it, that's still a small percentage of the Magic community. And, just like we tend to think that everybody's competitive because everybody we know is competitive, the reality is the majority of Magic players are casual. And so I think there's definitely some bias there, and there's a fancy word for it. But it's easy to feel like, this is happening when it's all around you. But the reality obviously was quite different. People loved this. And so I think that's definitely something to think about when we cover things like this, is that that's not indicative of the entire population.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the super fans who want to have the completionist of everything, and hey, we'll also talk about that later in a little bit. Let's keep moving here. We got plenty of stuff to talk about this week, which is nice. Zendikar Rising Championship happened this past weekend. Did you guys catch all the action?
I tuned in throughout the weekend, mostly just because I wanted to see how well Autumn was doing, and
they crushed it.
Yeah, I did enjoy some of the. I was there for some of the coverage, and I wanted to see how the matches were going, and so I just kind of hung out in the chat for a little while, and it was fine.
I wasn't watching it live, but I was catching a lot of the story on social media. They did a much better job, by the way, with promoting this event than they had done, I think, any of the previous 4 or 5.
I mean, you say that, but the viewership was still not great.
Was it not?
Viewership I saw was pretty bad.
It was pretty abysmal,
under 15K, I think. Maybe
I didn't even see 5 digits when I was watching.
That was at best for me when they were in some of the final rounds.
Standard looks healthy to me. Standard looks like it's in a good spot. Nothing looks super obsessive. The Historic could use some work. Historic is,
pretty good.
It's okay, but 3 decks are the vast majority of the field.
The Neostorm in Best of 1 is broken.
Well, yeah.
That deck
was
is
that
broken.
Kai's deck?
I don't know, but
Kai was playing a different combo
I loved Kai's
thing.
deck with the Kinnan and
Yeah.
just random,
Oh boy, yeah. Mine is the get Neoform into Dualcaster Mage a bunch of times, and then the Mimic a bunch of times, do it again, and then you get the Celebrant and then kill them out of nowhere in one
that's
turn.
cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool as hell in best of 3 when you can like stop it, and do something about your sideboard.
Yeah.
But in best of 1, if they ain't got main deck
Counter
Cage
Magic.
or whatever, or
Cage
Grafdigger's Cage,
or kill the Celebrant. Yeah.
then they just lose. I mean, it's just that's what I do. I'll play the deck and I'll feel kind of bad. I'll be like, well, you're just done. Like it's over, And goblins will get you to that last turn, and I'm like, well, I got the combo. You're dead,
Right.
And that's how it works. But congratulations to Brad Barclay for taking down the whole event. That was
Right.
great.
Yeah. Among Brads in this top 8, Brad Barclay was the eventual winner with what coverage called a rogue strategy of Azorius control, which I think was a misstatement. It was not a popular deck choice. It was sort of an
definitely
under the
popular.
radar deck choice. So Dimir Dimir control in standard and Azorius control in historic, neither of which were like top echelon decks, but played very well and was able to take it down.
So there was someone who on Twitter at Harry MTG. Clearly, this kid's super smart, and he has some feedback for Wizards, and I wanted to highlight it because there's some really good ideas in here. And esports, Magic esports, you listen, take some notes. All right, they say, look, the average viewer does not have Twitter. They're assuming that Magic has a massive budget and don't know the team behind the event, so the poor quality just makes them think less of the production and will push them away when they can watch better esports. There's no viewer interaction. He says Red Bull does this a lot, whereas there was a lot of downtime, as I understand it. And here was the killer idea. Here was the one where I was like, whoa, this is why I'm pointing this out, y'all. If Wizards let us choose an MPL player from the MPL League, and we got 100 coins or gems or whatever, some sort of rewards on Arena for every win that they got that weekend, I tell you what, I'd be a hell of a lot more invested in any of those players if I got to back one of them. Because remember in the World Championships, you got to back
Could
your
that
one
be considered
player?
gambling, though?
Would it? They had no problem giving away sleeves and
If you give away non-monetary things, then
give
it's
us a
probably
different
fine.
pet. Give us a different card back. I don't
Okay,
care.
because I know Wizards is really skittish when it comes to anything even close to gambling, where they're like,
Sure.
just-
Make it a weird in-game
if
thing.
you're giving away coupons for sleeves or pets or things that don't have monetary value, give them some
Like,
Disney dollars. It's fine.
Can you imagine like Brad Nelson's sleeve?
Right.
Whenever in Arena, you'd have a whole handful of Brad Nelsons looking at
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
That'd be kind of hilarious, right?
So
But
Harry,
it would
by
be
the way,
neat.
is one of the co-hosts of the Midweek Metagame with Gabe Nassif and Patrick Robertson,
Well, there you go.
which also comes out on Wednesdays. So if you want to listen to the Midweek Metagame, go download it. Just very smart ideas. I love this thread so much. I think that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
We've talked about ad nauseum about how the coverage just is not where it needs to be. Kind of has never been where it needs to be, but especially now in this day and age of only being online events, being unable to do actual live in-person coverage, you need to step up your graphics game. Like the 480p thing is inexcusable.
That was a big oof. Like having low res streams or whatever. Like
no viewer interaction is another huge thing. It's like, why at this point you have a game that is called The Gathering and you have no viewer interaction with your stream? You're asking for sub 5-digit streams. It's just not going to come together.
We need a spectator mode. Honest to God, we need a spectator mode.
Yeah, I definitely agree with most of Harry's feedback. The things that stood out to me in particular is, the first tweet. I'm one of those people that feels like Magic is just not meant to be an esport. Like it's just not.
Sure.
When you look at what esports are doing, you think of these voice-like sets with like giant chairs, or even the first big event with like lights and confetti and fireworks,
Right.
and like it just came off as really awkward. Like that's not, Magic is not that type of game. Like sure, there might be the odd moment where, Ari Lax jumps out of his chair and is excited or something like that. But, by and large, Magic's not that exciting, let's be honest. And
when he does, everyone gets on his
exactly,
back about it.
and so
like,
just, Magic has, like you said, they're really kind of trying to have it both ways where, they say they want to be an esport, but they won't commit to esport things. And so, I do think they need to pick a side where it's like, if you're going to do this, like you need to do it, and if you're not, then you need to go back and you need to really embrace that. But I don't think they can straddle the fence any longer. Like they've got to pick a side.
I think that I mean, so the Queen's Gambit is like the most popular TV show right now, and people are sending around these memes of Magic the Gathering and Queen's Gambit crossovers and other card games that aren't esports, not everything has to be an esport. It's not.
Exactly.
I mean, Magic is not built to be League of Legends. It's not built to be Overwatch, and that's okay. Exactly. Poker is fun to watch because they figured out how to make essentially turn-based games exciting. Chess can be exciting in the Queen's Gambit style of, you can make it in such a way that it is fun to watch without being confetti and lights and esports
lean into their strengths.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is. That's not, and again, that's why I'm not on the job doing it, but it can be done. It has been proven that it can be done. It's a more difficult path. Everyone was like, ooh, esports, and then went straight for it, but Magic isn't really set up to be an esport.
Well, not just that, in the way that it's just structured. Again, the structure is, I understand they have some flowcharts, but I also understand they don't put a lot of time and effort into showing you exactly how, a person is able to get from I like Magic to I'm an MPL member. I just don't think they have that anymore. Whereas I felt confident years ago, I could tell you how to be a Platinum Pro. I could explain to you the situations necessary to get there.
That's part of it
anymore.
That's part of it. But for me, the big thing is the show. The big thing is, what are we entertaining with? Because Hearthstone figured it out. Hearthstone's a turn-based card game, and they've got all the bells and whistles and make it exciting. I'll be honest, I didn't think that was going to work when it happened. I was like, how are they going to make this an esport? And then they did it with those Hearthstone cups and had the tavern and all that cool stuff, and it's great. Is Magic able to do that? Sure. Is that the way is that the best path for a game like Magic? I'm not convinced of that.
I'm not sure. Well, we got to move on here to Lair Community College doing a heck of a fundraiser here. They sold $140,000 of vintage Magic cards.
Whose cards were these?
This was a friend of his, sort of how it's introduced in the video, as I recall, who said he has these cards just sitting around and wants to do something good with them. And they support charities for people of color, and they have people of color in the community choose these charities, and that's a part of the video as well, which is great. And he says, he's giving away 5 foil masterpiece swords. For every $4, you get a raffle ticket, essentially. And then he's giving away 10 foil expedition fetch lands in a different giveaway to the other organization. They split the money in half. 70K went to one, 70K went to the other. And it's really sweet.
I thought that I was looking at this story and I was like, man, what a good job by Prof, giving 6 digits of, and then I look at Aaron's face and I'm like, wait, why is Aaron not on board? What's happening?
Oh, nothing.
What's wrong? How in the world is this bad?
I saw Aaron's face and she was making the fry, not sure if...
I just haven't watched the video, so I'm just not up to speed on what's all going on.
That's fine. I thought you might have had some weird
No, this is wonderfully positive and wholesome, and this is great. And I will take awesome fundraising. So go, Professor. One of the things that Gavin talked about this week, Gavin Verhey, in his Good Morning Magic, was about Commander Collection Green.
Okay, I got to talk about Gavin Verhey's Good Morning Magic.
Yes.
Because I watch it every morning.
It's delightful. On
Instagram. And I am just the biggest fan of this program that he's just like, hey, here's the thing I'm going to do. He is the heir apparent to Mark Rosewater. He is just everything good and wholesome and excellent about Magic. And the peaks that he gives us inside of his life and R&D and creating Magic is just, it's everything I could hope for.
I mean, just R&D in general these days are so open and transparent, and they're like, we tried this ability on this card and it didn't work. We tried this mechanic and we didn't like it, and we'll get to some more of that stuff later. But one of the things he talks about here is the signature spellbooks were kind of a cool idea. They certainly weren't terrible or nothing, but they didn't set the world on fire. Certainly not in the way that a Commander Collection Green product has. And so there's going to be no more signature spellbooks. There's going to be Commander Collections, at least from here on out. And they mentioned specifically, I thought was neat, was the command tower and the soul ring are green hued essentially, and are kind of the givens for the green players out there who want to have a green theme. This is a land that feels green, and a soul ring that feels green, and they're going to have more of those as they come out with different colors, which I thought was great. And the products themselves have been absolutely fantastic. It's a real reward for a store to get to the premium level, to be given the foil versions of these things, which are very expensive. Yeah. And that helps out the stores a lot, and they certainly could use it, let me tell you. It's 2020. All right, let's move on here to the Arena State of the Game, December 2020. This is the part where there's more checking out from Aaron. It's okay. Just let the glaze fall. It just comes right over.
It's fine. We'll talk about Magic
There's
Online.
There's not a lot here.
Later.
Don't worry. The biggest explanation this week is that you can make millions of creature tokens, but it's melting their servers and you have to stop.
Yeah. I was not expecting this to be a polarizing topic, but I saw a number of people in various Discords that were surprisingly upset about this.
Yeah.
Now, look, this is already a thing on Magic Online. You can't make more than 250 tokens on Magic Online.
I didn't know that.
As of tomorrow, you can't make more than 250 on Magic Arena.
That is, first of all, kudos. Second, where did we come up with this number?
Yeah.
It's kind of arbitrary in many ways, but again, because there's that precedent, I feel like if there wasn't that precedent, I feel if you could make 1 million tokens on Magic Online for whatever reason, okay, sure. But it already exists as a limit. No one really cares or talks about it. And it's only when you're like, well, I want to melt the server. And it's like, no, dude, you don't get to melt the server and affect other people's performance as well because you want to see the number go high. That's not okay.
Fewer screenshots and Reddit posts to be able to make the program run better. I mean, this is an obvious pick. This is a good change.
I mean, sure, I would love to be able to make millions of tokens, but it's not worth the cost.
Yeah, exactly.
It's silly. So there is going to be another Arena Open. This is you can play as much as you want, arguably predatory. But you can sign up as much as you want for best of 1 or best of 3 historic constructed. Yeah. And day two is that. Day 1 is that, rather. Day 2 is best of 3.
Yep.
And you can
win
up
that's this
to 2
weekend,
grand.
right? That's this weekend?
That is this weekend, 12th and 13th. That's
and
right.
This is best of 1 or best of 3 historic.
Right, to get in there.
Again, if you're playing historic, maybe don't play best of 1 because you've got the dual caster mage deck. Yeah. But I think that these are great value. I don't think these are predatory at all. These are
for what it's worth, being a spike, I don't necessarily think either. I feel like it's an argument that you could make and say, "Hey, yes, you can pay in as much as you want. Just it's a game of chance. Okay, sure." But at the same time, there are queues that fire all the time in the client anyway, but okay.
And also these sleeves are dope.
Right. I mean, based on untapped.gg, you should definitely play the Neostorm deck best of 1 in the day 1. That feels like it's over 60% win rate. They have to be ready for you. It's super cool. It's easy and short to play.
I will have to have somebody explain to me how the deck wins, but
I'll show you, but it's not hard. Okay. But it's super fun. And so you got to get 7 wins to make day 2, and if you get 5 wins or 6 wins plus, you make actual dollars on day 2.
Nice.
And they give you a sleeve no matter what, which is kind of neat too. Cube Draft is coming back to Magic Arena. Hey. And now we have the remastered sets that get to make it super spicy, which I'm excited. The Cube is going to be up on Arena December 12th through the 20th, so that's a couple days from now. And the Tinkerer's Cube, I don't know what that means.
That was a weird cube of I don't even. It was just
pieces or something.
Yeah, it was a bunch of. It's not exactly a combo cube, but it was like a combo-ish cube that gave a bunch of unloved cards love, and it was a weird
archetypes. I'm guessing.
It was a weird choice. Yeah.
And again, the remastered sets make all this stuff more interesting. Right. And then they're going to have the shake up, which is when they basically ban the most popular cards through Christmas. And this is going to be a standard shake up from the December 19th through Christmas, and then historic shake up the 26th through January 1st, so we don't have to play against goblins and so on and so forth all the time. And as they said, historic brawl from January 2nd through the 8th. You can play in it as much as you want. No entry fee required.
Love it.
which I thought was cool. We need to get those Euro lands before they take them off the store.
Yep.
And something is happening that is going to, let's see, at the end of the year, the variety of events to keep the holiday spirit strong. And they have a sleeve here of the Fruitcake Elemental.
Right.
One of the first,
That's
if not
cool.
the first, holiday promo.
So we don't know where the Fruitcake Elemental is going to pop up, but we know that it is a thing that is existing. And so we don't know, they're not telling us all the secrets.
Right, and we like it that way, so we'll keep it that way. But we like being teased.
It's a nice present to unwrap.
Sure. So, Aaron, we dove a little deep into Arena, so now we get to dive a little deep into Magic Online.
Hey.
Tell us about this Premier Play program and how you've been a part of it.
Now is when I check out.
Yeah, so Magic Online's my way of playing Magic, and so this is nothing too wild. They just unveiled their schedule and their plans for 2021, just like they've done every year. Some things that were really noteworthy this time around is that the preliminaries now are down to 4 rounds, which they were at 5 before, and they also require less people to fire. You needed 16 before, now you only need 12, which can be a little difficult, especially for those older formats out there. And they've also increased the prize support. So one of the big reasons to play the preliminaries is that you would get those QPs, those qualifier points that you would then need to get into the PTQs and get into the showcases and things like that. And you had to go, I think, at least 4 and 1 in order to get them before. And now you only need to go 2 and 2. So if you go 2 and 2 in a prelim, you get 10 qualifier points, which is hot. And so by all accounts, this was a very well-received change. This should lead to the prelims firing more and more people being in them. They also run really wild hours. Like I know there's one tonight at like 11 p.m., which I can't do. But if you are somebody who's wanted to play the prelims and maybe you didn't have the time, or maybe you felt like you couldn't get the wins to make them worth it, you might want to give them a shot now, which is really cool. There's also a vintage PTQ coming in late January. You heard me right, a vintage PTQ. So if you've ever wanted to play the Pro Tour and you don't want to play some of these other god-awful formats, you can play vintage and take your first
You'll probably have to play the other format.
Right, eventually you'll have to, but you can at least play something you love to get you started.
Right.
And so that's really, really cool. But yeah, I really like the Magic Online series. I think it's one of the more easier to understand pathways. And so, I'm looking forward to my busy season ending so I can get back on the grind, and it should be fun.
Very nice. Yeah, this has qualifiers that go into like super qualifiers, which then go into showcase events. Yeah, so at least I can understand all that stuff.
Kendra brought up a good point. There's also a good Pauper PTQ as well. So if you're into that side of things, you can play that too. And yeah,
the Pauper. I'm curious if they're just going to come down with a banhammer. Like
Pauper seems just really gross right now.
Pauper's in a weird format. It gets more and more extreme as people are trying to fight the Monarch craziness.
Yeah,
and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So. All right. There was a fun little video. I want to mention this real fast. There was a War of the Spark art book, and Loading Ready Run has like a 3-minute video where Graham goes over, just some parts of the book and what's in it. And there's a lot more than just War of the Spark in it, and it has a lot of Planeswalkers profile, and it's a really cool art book that kind of flew under the radar. This definitely feels like, Viz Media going like, hey, maybe we should have advertised this thing that we made because
I was
it's
a little
cool.
perturbed by how little I knew about this project before it popped up in our news this week.
Exactly. Yeah. So good on them for doing some advertising for what looks to be a really cool project. Like, this is a coffee table book for you and the fam or the friends to be like, hey, look, Magic's cool. There's more than just the cards. There's a whole story and lore and stuff you've never seen before.
Right.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. So the link is in the description of the video, and I'll put it here in the chat for you guys to go check that out. Somebody tell me about this We Are Brain Dead thing. I've never heard of them in my life.
Yeah. I was trying to figure this out. So you go ahead. You explain it if you know what the heck's going on.
So Brain Dead seems to be a very popular brand. I had seen some tweets indicating that there was a special collaboration or a collection happening. There were a couple items previewed that had Plague Bearer on them specifically, one of my favorite arts by Ron Spencer. And so they had only given us a sneak preview. We saw a tote bag, and I think we just saw the tote bags and one of the t-shirts or one of the sweatshirts. The collection released yesterday. It sold out in like 30 minutes. Like, I had my eye on the Cabal Therapy tote bag. That thing is gone. The only things that appear to be left are there are these you can get like dress pants, or no, it's a climbing pant. I'm sorry. You can get a Magic climbing pant. They have those. They have the dress shirts. It's like a button-up shirt sweatshirt. That's completely sold out. And so most of the things they have left are like the odd sweater in small, but like most of the sizes are gone. Most of the items are gone. I was not expecting this to sell as fast, but I'd never heard of this brand before. Apparently nobody else was surprised. But yeah, I mean,
so they've got 315,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
There is a pop-up installation for We Are Braindead at the Dover Street Market in London. Mm-hmm. So for those of you UK viewers out there that want to go see if there's anything you can pick up down there, good luck.
And just the most random cards. Like it's Plaguebearer, Wrench Mind, Cabal Therapy.
There's like a Wrathy Dragon.
Yeah, there's no pattern here.
I didn't know what was going on.
A lot of sense.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure what was happening. I mean, I like pop culture stuff. This is a weird meshing of magic.
The stuff is super cool.
Somebody likes it. Yeah. I just remember I remember I went on my lunch break, and like an hour after it released, I was like, oh, just go look at this little bag here. And like before I could even make up my mind as to whether or not I wanted to buy it, it was gone. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Like Lightning Dragon from Urza's Saga?
Yeah.
Like these aren't, this isn't Shivan Dragon.
There's a bunch of metal art. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't pick it based on cards. They picked it based on art.
Yes,
and so anything that was like, they had Phyrexian Broodlings, which is a common from Urza's Legacy.
Okay.
Yep. I knew it because it's Urza's Legacy. Yeah. Just the best common sack outlet that 1999 had to offer. And yeah, it was just, it was very random, but I was like, I can see how these are cool. Mm-hmm. Like it's a very specific motif.
Sure.
And if you know what We Are Braindead is, then cool.
If you know, then you know.
I have no idea.
I'll take it.
Listen,
it's cool.
You young whippersnappers and your lifestyle brands, I can't.
Your lifestyles and your magic cards all over your
and
pants.
And your skateboarding on the sidewalks.
Yeah, where's the Fashion Nova collection? How about that?
There you go.
Yeah. Where's my Forever 20 life?
Moving here to Desperate Ravings. I like that one, yeah. There was a really fantastic piece that came up on MTG Goldfish
Fashion
this week.
Cleansing Nova.
Nice.
Hey.
Nice.
There we go.
How much would it cost to buy one of every Magic the Gathering card printed in 2020? Because let me tell you, it's not just standard sets, y'all. It's standard sets, it's master sets, it's Commander Legends, it's multiple waves of Commander decks that are now tied to their own specific set release, along with the Commander Collection Green and the other signature spellbook that made it out. And we also have all the secret layers. And I'm not even done.
There are 4 individual printings of, for example, Ashaya Soul of the World.
Yeah.
There's a pack promo. There's a full art, like extended border promo. Mm-hmm. There's a pre-release promo. And then there's like the stamped one that has the Planeswalker stamp on it from the packs that you get from your local game store. And that's just 4 of one random rare. Mm-hmm. So like, imagine multiplying that by 4 for every rare, plus everything in every Planeswalker deck, plus everything from every secret lair, plus this. It's so many cards.
The Commander Collection came in non-foil and foil. Unsanctioned also came out. Jumpstart also came out. Like mystery booster boxes and mystery boosters came out. So that's a lot of cards, and there's so many different versions to try to get them. And so he added it up. Again, this is just the one of. This isn't even the other languages.
Not even a play set.
We didn't go into Russian, Japanese, whatever.
Right.
We just said English cards. I want one of every English card in 2020. It would cost you about $31,884.
English printings only. That's crazy.
That's a lot. That's insane. And from a business standpoint, Wizards is crushing it.
Sure.
They have completely and you even notice it now. Look at the price of foils. Look at the price of foil cards compared to their non-foil versions. They're like a couple bucks higher now.
Right.
Maybe 4 or 5, sometimes 10. But you don't see the automatically twice as expensive as the non-foil like you used to.
Exactly. I remember being surprised when my boyfriend and we opened our Commander Legends box, and that is not a euphemism. And we opened both a non-foil. We opened a non-foil Rings of Bright Hearth and a foil one, and we were expecting there to be a radical difference, and there just wasn't. It was like $4. It was really surprising. We thought we hit the jackpot.
Right.
I mean, congratulations to the collector booster for just completely saturating the foil market.
Yeah.
Well, and also foils have been much maligned recently because of the foiling process. The plastic and the cardboard are making them warp. So
But that didn't change pricing back then.
It's true. It didn't change pricing back then.
Right, but once they did collector boosters, everything changed, and now foils are just not that. They're not just not that special anymore. Like, just kind of how it is.
I mean, it's an insane business model. It's a good business model for Hasbro and for Wizards of the Coast. There's no way to collect every single Magic card. I mean, there is, but you'd have to be Martin Shkreli, like when he was trying to do that. Boy, remember that name?
I was going to say, you went deep in the vault for that one.
I know, I went way back. And so in order to do that, to get to a point where even the collectoriest collectors can't get there, it's a good business model.
I mean, back in the day, this was when I went to the Invitational in 2007, and they told me about there was this guy who lived in Germany, and I met him, and he was super cool, very quiet, wanted absolutely nothing to do with my camera, did not want any notoriety, but he was like the uber collector. He had one of everything. He had a lot of the really weird one-off cards, like he owned the World Championship card, like all the stuff, like this was the collector guy. And I'm sitting there going, wow, did that guy spend $30,000 this year to try to get every one of those cards in English? I don't know, but like, damn, that's a lot of products. To the point where, like we were talking about in the pre-show, we can do top 10 products of the year.
We could,
because there's so many of them.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. For Wizards, that's a good thing. Business is getting better, so let's do it. And for those who keep hating on secret Lairs, they keep selling.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's not going to be a situation in this boardroom where they go like, well, Secret Lair's killing it. And somebody goes, well, have you seen Twitter? Like that ain't how those conversations go. Somebody was really angry, and you're like, okay, sure. So moving on here, this was a surprising story kind of out of nowhere, of Wizards making an announcement on Magic Story being regionally blocked in various places. Aaron, tell us about this one.
Yeah, so when the Nissa Chandra ship sailed, a lot of people speculated that the reason why the relationship was taken apart was because Wizards was trying to appeal to certain countries, such as China or Russia, that, may not take kindly to stories about, homosexuality or things like that. And so and China in particular is a really, really big market. And so that was the main reason why people thought, that story got put aside. And so, this announcement led people to believe that, we're going to start seeing some really gay things coming up in Kaldheim. Sure. Because now they're saying that, they're going to continue to print the stories they want to. And they're just, instead of not, printing the stories they want to, because of these countries, they're going to take the opposite approach, where if you don't want to see them, we're just going to block it in those countries. So, and so I'm really kind of excited to see what they're going to do. But this was a really nice take. And, people have been critical of the lore and of the story ever since War of the Spark and ever since Nissa and Chandra were dismantled. And so for the people out there that were disappointed, they looked at this as a positive first step of, okay, we see you. Now we need you to follow through on this.
The tweet here from Michael Yachow basically said, can't wait to read the stories on the horizon. Set sail queer ships with a rainbow and an arm that's strong and stars.
When the original thing happened, when the decidedly male fracas happened,
was so awful.
I looked at it and was like, how did this happen with all of these people inside of Wizards of the Coast? I looked at everyone I knew in Wizards, and more than half of them were not cisgendered. And I was like, how did this occur? And this news signals to me that they inside Wizards weren't happy either. They figured out a way to do it.
Yes. Right, and that's something we've talked about before. Is obviously we know a lot of the same people, and so but the people that we know are not necessarily the people in the boardrooms, and they're not necessarily the people making the decisions. And so there's always been this disconnect between the super liberal side of Wizards that we know and the people in suits that are making the decisions. And so it's the people in the suits were probably the ones that made the decision to cater to certain groups and countries, and obviously, and I do think this is a case. Evan, you just mentioned mentioned how, if secret layers are doing well, you can't point to one person and say, well, they're mad if the secret layers are doing well. There was a tangible reaction to that story. Like, I would imagine the books didn't sell, or the books were poorly reviewed or something like that. And so I think in this case, the audience did speak loudly, and maybe they haven't been buying the books, or maybe they haven't been, giving Wizards the data they want to inspire change, but this time they did, and that's why things happen.
There you go. Great.
I think the bottom line might have either actually been affected, or there was so much internal strife they had to figure out a way to fix it.
Exactly. A tangible way
or
of
a little bit of
moving the
column
needle.
A and a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
I'll take both. For us to get a story that doesn't have to be like completely derailed in the final act, yes, please, thank you. God, they ruined Chandra and Nissa quite
We can get him
horribly.
back. We can always
we'll get him back.
Goodness gracious. All right, so we don't have a ton of time left, but we can talk about probably a few of the 21 legends cut from Commander Legends.
Yes.
Via
This was
Gavin
so
Verhey.
cool.
Yeah.
This was cool.
Yeah. So Gavin, that Good Morning Magic, today's episode was about 21 legends that did not make the cut. And so we got to see some test cards of notable characters like Ashnod and Hercule, Marisi. The one card that got my attention was this Azorius. I don't know if you can throw up a picture, Evan, but there was an Azorius character that was basically a Yixlid Jailer, a Containment Priest, and an Avid Mind Sensor for the low cost of 2 Azorius mana.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what a
Gavin.
horrendous...
well, what were you thinking? And he was like,
a lot.
we didn't do it. We didn't do it. And I was like, good, because I would have to toilet paper some houses.
Yeah, that thing was unreasonable. I read that card and was like, what is happening? Like, the mushrooms in Seattle have to be good.
They have to be
For
really
you
strong.
to
I'm
be
blocking
like, this,
everybody in the chat
this
who
is
wants
a
that card.
2 for 2. Get the heck out of here. I, of course, was on board with Mattock Lavamancer, Kamal and Jessica's granddad. And was a partner legend that was a hill giant. Hey, a hill giant here. Well, it's a human wizard, but it was 3 colorless and a red for a 3/3 that said that instant sorcery spells you cast can't be countered. And then it also had like a Lavamancer ability, which was pay a red and tap and exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Mattock bolts something.
Yeah, he bolts something.
And by the way, it has partner. I loved that card. I thought that was a great homage.
Yeah, that card was sweet. I love the Ashdon card that puts counters and makes them as artifact creatures, so then they're like completed, which I thought was super cool.
That was awesome.
Like, so much cool flavor in there. And again, this is if you've certainly watched my stuff for long enough or noticed what Wizards has done for a very long time, they would never show you any of this stuff.
Yeah.
This is a look behind the curtain we didn't get 10 years ago. Like, this would be someone got fired if they showed somebody this stuff 10 years ago. Whereas nowadays we get to hear about everything. It's great. I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to hear about more things they didn't print. It was super fun.
Also, there was a little bit of sadness amongst the super nerdy contingent. Not actual sadness. They were trolling that there was no Ashen Man Dacular card or whatever the heck that guy's name is.
Oh my gosh, with the million syllables.
Yeah. Which was kind of
adorable.
hilarious too.
I mean, yeah. How are you going to say it? That's what I want to know.
Get Evan to say it. That'll be a Patreon tier.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Aston Daculars.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something stupid and say something offensive.
In the
it's just
middle
gonna
of
hop
the
in there
name.
somewhere. I'm like,
Yeah.
All right. So, do you guys want to talk about any of the other topics before we move on? Anything you guys care a lot about?
I was particularly interested in the Legacy tournament in Japan. The fact that Japan is doing well enough with that they're able to have like in-person tournaments.
Yeah.
There was a 230 player Legacy tournament this weekend, and I think Elves took the whole thing down, which is hilarious. But yeah, there were pictures of this. Obviously everybody in the top 8 had masks, but it just feels so close, and just to see things like that, and just to see how well other countries are doing, it's just like
when the whole country wears masks, you can do stuff.
Crazy.
You
wild.
can have fun. You can enjoy events.
Yeah.
So
We cannot.
the one that I wanted to briefly touch on in splash damage, if you want to get that screen, is that there is a Legends of Runeterra tournament happening on Sunday, December 13th, commentated or hosted by Brian Kibler and Ashlyn Rose. And on the commentary team are some other familiar faces, not the least of which is friend of the show, Jeff Hoagland.
Wow.
Jeff Hoagland's on there.
Who,
wow.
so, I mean, Wizards, you worried yet? I mean, it's
I
like...
am living for Ashlyn's headshot. She's giving you hair. She's giving you a smirk. Like, get that bag, Ashlyn. I'm not.
That's
I
right.
see you.
Ashlyn's crushing it. And
Ashlyn-
Jeff Hoagland? I did
right.
not know that to this very
It's a
moment.
good headshot. We
Wow.
gotta give it to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Kibble's
Whoever
looking
this
not a
guy is
day
with
over.
the tomatoes on his eyes,
What's going
he's
on?
being
I don't
weird.
know.
But yeah,
And-
co-star of mine on Dice Ex Machina, Ashlyn
jeez.
Rose. Tune in
Very
Mondays.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff has went all in on Runeterra after he got pissed off at Wizards for the 372nd time or whatever. And I think it was The Walking Dead or something was the final straw. But,
Was it really?
I think it was.
I heard he's
But
having issues with Arena, but
was it? I don't know.
I mean, good on him though. You know, he's
Yeah.
obviously trying to chase his happiness, and here's hoping that provides him with that. So.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's been doing well, and obviously,
I mean, he's doing
Riot's
what
paying
people should be
attention.
doing. Let's be completely honest. You know, how many times have you seen people say, you know, I hate secret layers, or I hate this, or I hate this, and they're
Exactly.
still here? It's like, if you're that unhappy, you don't have to watch the Pro Tours.
We
You don't
just
have to buy
said
the secret layers.
exactly.
Like,
We just said if you don't like it, don't buy it.
yeah, and so
That's
if
what Jeff's
he's-
doing,
He's
and-
doing
yeah.
that, and yeah.
And I mean, honestly, that's what Kibler did. You know, he
Yeah.
bought in on Hearthstone when everyone was like, "I'm mad at Wizards because but they were treating the pros terribly," or
Yep.
whatever dumb thing was going on. And he's like, "Yeah, me too. But I'm going to go over here and spend my time and effort. Stop writing articles about Magic.
And it
Started
works
making
for him, and he
videos
doesn't
about
look a day
Hearthstone.
over 25.
Oh, that boy looks amazing.
Kibler
And
will
he's-
always be able to get it. Like, just
Yeah.
Kibler is my age.
Whoa.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
40
I
years
LARP
old.
with Kibler.
Kibler's
so.
wow. How old is Kibler?
He's 40
He's
years
40.
old. He's 40. The man keeps, takes care of himself.
And
That's
He,
great.
he works out a lot. And
And he's a
fit.
good
on
person,
stream.
which automatically
And he's a
makes
good
you, like,
person.
10 times
That
better.
will, yeah. If you take care of your soul will take care of you.
Exactly.
I've had fantastic interactions with Mr. Kibler over the years, absolutely. All right, so that means we're going to turn the corner here to the finisher. With alien intergalactic alliances, mysterious metal monoliths, zombie minks, and KFC Lifetime movies being only some of the biggest stories of the last few days, this week has been one of the most 2020 weeks of 2020. So as we head back into our Fallout bunkers for more pandemic lockdown times, what's going to be the next crazy bananas story to wreak havoc on our airwaves, Ruben?
So with KFC announcing a sexy Colonel Sanders movie starring AC Slater from Saved by the Bell,
Yep.
Mickey D's and their Travis Scott meal, I guess, and Wendy's teaming up with Myth, Choco Bars, and other big names in Twitch streaming, I'm prepared for the next shoe to drop in the online burger wars. So I'm looking forward to the inevitable when the proletariat rise up to behead the Burger King and the Dairy Queen with a crowd-funded guillotine. Down with the burger bourgeoisie!
Les Miserables burgers? I don't know.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Aaron?
Well, since the only two reasonable avenues of income these days are Amazon Deliver or OnlyFans model, the combination of the two is inevitable. So I'm looking forward to my own personal drone delivery next week from the hit new IPO coming to NASDAQ, Daddy's Dream Delivery. It's just what the doctor ordered.
Here's your package.
I would like to sign for your package.
Nice. Yeah.
Gotta inspect the package before
Sign,
you accept
sign here.
Is it
Ribs
Oh.
open shirt? Yeah.
it. Lord Almighty. Look, well, since all I want to do these days is plug into the mainframe and get my Cyberpunk 2077 on, which I do, I, for one, welcome our new alien overlords. So I'm excited to announce that our next early access streamer event will not be on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook Gaming, but instead jacked directly into your brainstems, introducing this winter Matrix Mics. We know Kung Fu.
We know Kung Fu.
That's right.
Oh, jeez.
And that ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you. And MLS Cup Finals this weekend. We are massive. Go Crew.
Okay, that's for sports fans. Got it. And we move here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, CardHoarder.com, my co-hosts, Aaron Campbell and Ruben Bresser. You guys for watching and listening. I hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, Twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.